Hello again, I-Bond fans. Today's video is another one that many of you have asked for. Where's my I-Bond interest and what's the exact math formula? This exact math formula that Treasury Direct uses to calculate I-Bond interest has been a bit of a mystery for many of us super savers for quite some time. But after some extensive number crunching and lots of coffee, especially since I couldn't reach anyone at Treasury Direct who was able to give me an entirely bulletproof answer, I have solved this riddle exclusively for you and for this video. As a sneak peek, there are two things that Treasury Direct does with the interest calculation on I-bonds that you may not have expected, and which I didn't expect either, because this language on their website is not clear. But these two things that Treasury Direct does with the interest calculation, they explain the exact amount of interest you should be expecting in your Treasury Direct account every month. And they solve the riddle of the small differences we super savers have been perplexed by. And hey, in the latest periods we looked at, it even worked in our favor and meant a bit more interest for all of us I-Bond holders. By the end of this video, you'll know when your I-bonds first start earning interest versus when you actually see this earned interest show up in your Treasury Direct account, why Treasury Direct does it this way, and what it means for you when you redeem your I-bonds, including the ideal strategy if you're a short-term I-bond holder. This video is chock full of I-bond interest details. If you bought your I-bonds between November 2021 and February 2022, I'll show you how much interest you should expect to see in your Treasury Direct account through to October 2022. And if you bought or are buying your I-bonds after that, say in March 2022 through to October 2022, I'll show you when your month one interest will appear in your Treasury Direct account and how much you should expect to see. Plus, I'll walk you through where you can go to get this information yourself in the future. And the long-awaited, what is the secret I-bond interest math formula, which won't be much of a secret for much longer. So watch on, my financial friend. Here's the email from Treasury Direct that one of our loyal subscribers, Tony, shared with me in May 2022, from those days long past when Treasury Direct still responded via email. Interest is usually earned every month. However, as there is a 3-month interest penalty for bonds redeemed within the first 5 years, interest earned will not begin to accrue until the first day of the 4th month following the issue date. Basically, your I-bonds start earning interest in month 1, the month of purchase. But you will only see that month 1 interest earned show up in your account in month 5. And here's what this means for those of you who purchased I-bonds between November 2021 and this month, June 2022. This column here is month 1, the month you bought your I-bonds in, and the month when your I-bonds first started earning interest. This column here is month 5, the month when the interest earned in month 1 accrues, or actually appears, shows up in your Treasury Direct account. So if you bought your I-bonds anytime in November 2021, you would have seen your November 2021 interest, the interest earned in month 1, appear in your Treasury Direct account in March 2022 only. If you bought your I-bonds anytime in December 2021, you would have seen this December 2021 interest, the interest earned in month 1, appear in your Treasury Direct account in April 2022 only. And so on. Just look at this month 1 column here, find which month you purchased your I-bonds in, and to the right of that, you'll see the month when that month 1 interest shows up in your Treasury Direct account. If you're buying this month in June 2022, you won't see your June interest show up in your Treasury Direct account until October 2022. I know it's sometimes hard to believe, but there is a method to the seeming madness. Now keep in mind that I don't work for Treasury Direct, but I have had many lengthy conversations with them on the phone. And yes, I do wait on hold for 2 to 3 hours like everyone else every time I call. I wish I had a direct line, quite frankly. In any case, from what I understand, Treasury Direct does it this way so that what you see is what you get in your Treasury Direct account. For each I-bond you own, you'll know exactly the amount you'll receive, the amount that will be deposited into your bank account if you decide to cash it out right then and there. So this 3-month time lag in interest earned, it'll be there for the first 5 years to account for the early redemption penalty, and then it goes away after that. As another I-bond owner confirmed in one of our community posts, it will remain 3 months behind for 5 years. After the 5-year anniversary, you will see the full amount of interest appear. If you're a long-term I-bond holder, drop us a comment below and let us know if this has also been your experience. So, if Treasury Direct is holding back the last 3 months' interest like a reserve or provision for the early redemption penalty, why does interest only start showing up in month 5 instead of month 4? Many of you won't like what I'm about to tell you, but it's something important every I-bond holder should be clear about. To explain this, let's assume that the minimum holding period for an I-bond is 3 months, not 12 months like it actually is. And yes, I do know that it makes no sense to have a 3-month minimum holding period, given that the early redemption penalty in the first 5 years is the last 3 months' interest. But work with me here. This hypothetical situation will make everything much easier to understand. So, say that the minimum holding period on an I-bond is 3 months and that you bought your I-bond in April 2022, just because I know many of you did. April 2022 is month 1 and your I-bond started earning interest in April, in month 1, and you earned a full month's interest no matter when you bought your I-bond in April, even if you bought it at the end of the month. May 2022 is month 2. Your I-bond earned the full month's interest here as well, even though it doesn't show up yet on your Treasury Direct account because of the early redemption penalty. June 2022 is month 3. And again, your I-bond earned the full month's interest even if you can't see it yet in your Treasury Direct account. July 2022 is month 4. July is also the month in our make-believe example when you can now cash out. And here's the kicker. If you cash out any time in this month, in month 4, you will earn 0 interest for the entire month. We all know that there's no such thing as a free lunch, and this applies also to the government. You got your free lunch here in April. In month 1, you earned a full month's interest no matter when you bought your I-bond in that month. So, in your redemption month, July in this example, or month 4, the government's basically taking back that free lunch by not paying any interest at all unless you hold it for the entire month. Even if you redeem on the last few days of July, you'll get nothing for the month of July. To get your July 2022 interest, your month 4 interest, you would have to hold your I-bonds until at least August 1st. And that's why when you check your online account in month 4, you still see 0 interest. And also why month 1 interest earned only starts to appear in your online account in month 5. Let's go back to the real world now, where the minimum holding period for I-bonds is 12 months. If you bought in April 2022 and you're planning to cash out in April 2023, in month 13, you will earn 0 interest in April 2023, no matter when you cash out, when you redeem during that month. Because the government's taking back that free lunch they gave you here in month 1, when you earn the full month's interest, no matter when you bought your I-bond in April 2022. And because I know there are some short-term I-Bond holders in our community as well who will ask this, yes, all things being equal, if you really want to maximize your return, you would buy your I-Bonds as close to the end of the month as possible and redeem your I-Bonds in month 13 as close to the beginning of the month as possible. Let's start with those of you who bought your I-Bonds in November 2021. Those of you who purchased your I-Bonds between December 2021 and February 2022 should watch this short intro as well because it walks you through what each row in the table means so that you can better understand your own numbers. So, I'm going to assume that you bought $10,000 of I-Bonds in November 2021. This row here shows you the month and year, with November 2021 being month 1, the month you purchased your I-Bonds in. This row shows you the annualized I-Bond yield for that month. See how it changes every 6 months. Here's your monthly interest earned on your $10,000 of I-Bonds. And I'll show you the math formula behind this later in the video. As always, it's not quite as simple as you would expect and has been shrouded in mystery for a while before I cracked it for you guys. And here is the interest balance that shows up in your online account with Treasury Direct each month. As you can see, and as I explained earlier, in the first 4 months, you see 0 interest in your online account. When you get to month 5, you'll see the interest from month 1 show up in your online account. And in month 6, you'll see the interest from month 1 and 2. And in month 7, you'll see the interest from month 1, 2, and 3, and so on. And down at the bottom here, that's your actual cumulative interest earned. Here's what the numbers look like for you if you bought $10,000 of I-Bonds in December 2021. I'm just gonna leave this on screen for a few seconds. Feel free to pause the video if you need to, or skip ahead to January 2022 or February 2022. Here's what the numbers look like for you if you bought $10,000 of I-Bonds in January 2022. And here's what the numbers look like for you if you bought $10,000 of I-Bonds in February 2022. As always, let's assume that you bought $10,000 of I-Bonds. This column shows the month that you bought your I-Bonds in, what I refer to as month 1. This column shows the month that you will see your month 1 interest appear in your Treasury Direct account, the first time that your principal starts to grow in your online account, basically month 5. This column here shows you how much that month 1 interest that shows up in your Treasury Direct account in month 5 is. And for reference, here's the annualized yield that you'll be getting for your first 6-month holding period. If you bought in March or April 2022, you can substitute your purchase month for this November 2021 column, change the dates up here accordingly, and you'll see how the numbers play out for you. If you bought or plan on buying between May 2022 and October 2022, you can refer to these numbers here to see what you'll be earning in the first 6-month holding period. Just remember that month 1 interest earned only appears in month 5 in your Treasury Direct account. This is where you can go to get this information on your own in the future. But Jennifer, you'll say, that's for paper savings bonds. I know that's what it says, but it works for electronic I-Bonds as well, which should not be so surprising after all, as it's basically the same instrument. You just have to get a bit creative and do some basic math yourself in some cases. So, say for the purpose of this illustration that I bought $10,000 of I-Bonds in April, and I want to see how much month 1 interest will appear in my Treasury Direct account in month 5. So that's April, May, June, July, August. Here, where it says value as of, I'll put in 08/2022. In the pull down menu, I'm going to click on I-Bonds. Then I'll select $10,000 from this menu list. Leave the bond serial number box empty unless you have paper bonds. Then I put in the date that I purchased my I-bonds, which in this example is April 2022. And I hit calculate, and it doesn't work. I get this message that it's an impossible series denomination issue date selection. Valid issue dates for $10,000 series I-bonds are May 1999 through January 2008. Remember, these are for paper bonds. And yes, I knew it wasn't going to work, but I also know many of you would have just clicked on $10,000 intuitively if you did buy $10,000 of I-bonds all in one go. This is where we get a bit creative. I'm going to re-enter everything again. August 2022 here, I-bonds here, but the denomination, I'm going to select $1,000 because I know they still issue $1,000 I-bonds as paper bonds when you buy I-bonds with your tax refund. Issue date is still April 2022 as before. Click calculate now, and voila, here you have it. If I had bought $1,000 of I-bonds in April 2022, and I want to see what my interest earned in August 2022 is, it's a whopping $6. Now, if I had bought $10,000 of I-bonds, which many of you know I did, I just multiplied the $6 earned on $1,000 of I-bonds by 10. And that's the interest that I'll see appear in my Treasury Direct account in August 2022, $60. Plus, if you look under the notes column, you'll see the letters NE. NE means, as you can see from this notes description box here, not eligible for payment. That's because these I-bonds have not met the minimum 12-month holding period yet. Once they do, this NE will change to P5, which means that this value that you see here, it's what you get if you cash out. That it already includes the 3-month interest penalty for early withdrawal in the first 5 years. And if I want to see what September looks like, I'll click remove to get rid of everything. This will bring me back to the original calculator page for paper savings bonds. I'd enter 09-2022 for September 2022 instead of 08-2022 like before. Here again, I-bonds, $1,000, and 04-2022, the same issue date as before. And there you go. This is the interest amount that will show up in my Treasury Direct account in September 2022, times 10, because I bought $10,000 of I-bonds, not $1,000. And if you think this is a bit antiquated, it is, but it works. Imagine how much in taxes it would cost us if they ever upgraded the system. Having said that, I'm testing something out now that is a bit less antiquated, but give me a week or two on that one. As I mentioned before, the exact math formula that Treasury Direct has been using to calculate I-bonds has been shrouded in mystery for quite some time. Not that the interest wasn't being paid on time and roughly the right amount, but it was always a few dollars off, much to the dismay of some of you who couldn't make the exact formula work. Well, you guys asked and we delivered. After a few late nights and many different spreadsheet calculations with this one, I did figure out the exact math formula in the end and sang a hallelujah. In summary, Treasury Direct does two things with the I-bond interest formula that you may not have expected. Two things which explain the small differences between the interest that you actually see show up in your Treasury Direct account and what some of our super savers were expecting based on their own calculations. First, they always start by calculating the interest on a $25 notional investment, then round it to the nearest cent and scale it up, multiply it to get to the actual interest paid. I'll show you an example shortly. This process, while not wrong, can induce some rounding related differences. Second, they seem to compound the interest every month in their formula, even though they say interest is compounded semi-annually. That means that the interest earned in April will already be added to the base for calculating the interest for May. You don't have to wait for 6 months before that happens. Both these design features seem to explain the residual differences between the actually posted amounts in your Treasury Direct account and what our super savers were expecting. Not life-changing, but over the past cycle or two, it has added a few cents or dollars here and there on what your I-bonds earn. As always, let's walk through an illustration because this is not straightforward by any means. Let's assume again that you bought $10,000 of I-bonds in April and you nabbed the 7.12% annualized I-bond rate. Here's how the month one interest earned is calculated. But remember, you will only see it in month 5 in your account. So month one interest, this is a 2-step process. Math formula step 1, and this is very important. Treasury Direct works off of a base unit of $25 of I-bonds, no matter how much you purchase. That's this $25 here. Here's the 7.12% annualized I-bond rate divided by 2 because it's just for 6 months. Remember, we're assuming that we got this rate because we bought in April 2022. And here's the calculation for 1 month of interest earned, which assumes interest is compounded monthly over a 6-month period. Now, let's subtract the initial base unit of $25 of I-bonds, and that's the I-bond interest earned in month 1 on $25 of I-bonds. Then, Treasury Direct rounds this number to the nearest cent, which gets us to the 15 cents in this example. Math formula step 2. Treasury Direct scales up to larger amounts. In this example, it's $10,000 of I-bonds. So, 15 cents is what you would earn on $25 of I-bonds in month 1. Again, what shows up in month 5. Now, multiply that 15 cents by the scaled up factor of 400, which is what's in parentheses. $10,000, what you actually purchased, divided by the initial base unit of $25 used by Treasury Direct for the math formula. And here's your $60 of month 1 interest earned. And in month 2, you would use these same 2 formulas. But you would change this 1 here to 2. And the same for months 3, 4, 5, and 6. Change this to the respective month in the 6-month holding period. This 2-step formula gives you the cumulative amount in any given 6-month holding period, from which you can back into the monthly interest earned. That was the first 6-month holding period. When you apply this formula in the second 6-month holding period, make sure that you add the interest earned in the first 6-month holding period to this initial base unit, as well as your initial I-bond investment of $10,000. Otherwise, your numbers will be off. And I think that's what Treasury Direct means when they say interest is compounded semi-annually. They add your cumulative interest earned over any given 6-month holding period to this base unit of $25 and to your initial investment as well. In our example, $10,000. Because, well, the I-bond rate changes every 6 months. But within any given 6-month holding period, that interest is compounded monthly. So using this formula, if you had bought $10,000 of I-bonds in April at the 7.12% annualized yield, this is the amount of interest you would get if you redeem after 12 months in April 2023. Remember, that's minus the last 3 months' interest as an early withdrawal penalty. The question marks here are because we don't know what this I-bond rate will be yet. And this here is the cumulative interest you would have earned over the 12 months. In this example, this cumulative interest earned is even slightly more than if you took Treasury Direct's interest is compounded semi-annually at face value and backed into a formula like this one, which most folks, myself included initially, would intuitively do. To be exact, $2 more. Not enough to even get half a gallon of gas, but hey, every little bit helps these days. And if you're wondering, a lot of caffeine and Excel was involved in this. If you still believe that the interest in your online account is incorrect after this math Olympiad right here, drop us a comment below or reach out to Treasury Direct for further clarification. Well, I-bond fans, you now know more about I-bond interest than even some of the Treasury Direct folks we spoke to. And let's hope they don't take the scaling up from the $25 base unit and the monthly compounding away from us, now that I've discovered. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget that thumbs up, and see you again next week with another money-saving, wealth-building video.